Hi, welcome to Starz Recapped. Today I'm going to explain an American action comedy film titled Spy Kids, Armageddon, which was released in the year 2023. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The movie opens up with two siblings, Tony and Patty, who are seen completing a mission in a video game-like place. These siblings are spy kids, who secretly undergo missions and are known as secret agents. After facing many difficulties in their mission, and denied access to the Armageddon code, a code that can unlock any technology in the world, Tony and Patty feel like they won't be able to complete their mission. The previous day, when Tony and Patty were in their home with their parents, Tony steals a gaming card from one of his father's lockers. At the same time, his father Terrence enters the room and sees Tony hiding something in his sleeve. He asks him about it, but Tony deceives him. What Tony and Patty don't know is that their parents Terrence and Nora are also spies, and have always tried to keep them away from all kinds of gadgets. They had taken this precaution so that no other spy could break into their system through any device. Sometime later, Nora and Terrence meet in their secret workspace, where they have been working to hide the secret Armageddon code. During this, they realize that it is their anniversary today, and they are supposed to reveal their spy identities this year to their kids as decided. Despite preparing themselves to reveal their secret, they end up backing out and postponing their plan for the next year again. The next morning, as the kids leave for their school, Terrence and Nora leave for their office. A senior agent assigns them a new mission, and informs them that they are going to capture a group that had managed to infiltrate one of their top secret server rooms at their organization, OS, which stands for the Organization of Super Spies. By the time, the two of them arrive at their location, and they find that they have been locked out of the secret room. Terrence uses his watch, which contains the secret Armageddon code, to unlock the door. When they finally enter the server room, a fight breaks out between them and a group of assailants inside. After killing 4 of them, Nora realizes that one of them is missing. At that moment, a robot jumps inside the room through the roof and attacks them. It soon overpowers the two spies, steals Terrence's watch that contained the secret Armageddon code, and runs away. Nora and Terrence run after him, but they are too late. Outside, they overhear a child calling the robot Heck Knight from a game called High Score. Meanwhile, in school, Tony competes in a match and wins using the stolen gaming card. He wins a free copy of the new game, High Score. He then introduces all the children to the maker of the game, Ray Kingston, on his tablet. On the other side, the robot, Heck Knight, who stole Terrence's watch, goes to meet Kingston and hands the watch over to him. He informs Kingston that the watch does not contain the complete Armageddon code. To which Kingston replies that the missing part of the code must be in Terrence's home. He begins plotting a plan to steal the code with the help of Tony's device, on which he will play the new High Score game later that night. Back at home, Tony along with Patty plans to play the High Score game right at 12 o'clock in the night. 5 minutes before midnight, the two kids sneak into the gaming room, and get access to the computers. On the other side, Nora explains to Terrence that they should delete the Armageddon code, as it is a threat to the world if it falls into the wrong hands. Terrence refuses to do so, claiming that they have been asked to protect the code. In the gaming room, Tony and Patty log into the High Score game and start playing it. At the same time, Nora tries to use Terrence's fingerprints to delete Armageddon's code. However, before she can do that, Ray Kingston breaks into Tony's computer and hacks the code. This causes the whole system to shut down, and seeing that they have caused trouble, the kids immediately exit the game. As soon as Nora and Terrence realize that the Armageddon code is stolen, they suspect Tony of tinkering with their gadgets. When they check up on him, they find him asleep. The next morning, a news anchor reports that Ray Kingston has hacked into most systems around the world, with the help of Armageddon code. In order to log into their devices, people have to play the High Score game. While Nora, Terrence, and their kids are discussing the situation, the villains of the High Score game attack their house. Nora and Terrence fight the villains, while Tony watches them in awe. Meanwhile, Patty unlocks the main door of the house, which was locked by the villains, and helps her family escape. Then, the 4 of them head towards the safe house. Terrence opens a secret door in the wall that slides into the basement, full of innovative gadgets. Nora and Terrence inform their kids about their job, and that they are on a secret mission. Seeing the villains coming after them, they load their kids into the autocar, that will directly drive them to the safe house. Nora then hands over a tracker locket to Patty, and tells her that there is something very important in the safe house that they need to protect. The two of them start fighting the villains, while the kids drive away. On their way to the safe house, some of the villains follow the kids, and hack their car's autopilot. However, the kids start driving the car manually and reach the safe house safely, leaving behind all the villains. The safe house's door opens once the kids tell their full names. Inside, they notice a recorded video message from their mother, who tells them about her and their dad's spy identities. They are then shown their cozy beds, kitchen, snacks, gadgets, and spy training system to help them become better spies. Meanwhile, Nora and Terrence are kidnapped by Kingston, and are sent to a cell in his palace. This prison cell looks like the inside of a game. Once they release themselves from the jail, Kingston shows up in front of them and asks them for the other half of the Armageddon code. He tells them that he wants to hack all the devices on the planet, and this can only happen with the complete Armageddon code. However, Nora and Terrence refuse to give up the code. With no other option left, Kingston takes out his sword and challenges them to a fight. He says that if they win this fight, he will let them go, but if they lose, then they will have to tell him the complete code. Nora and Terrence agree and are given swords. The fight between them starts, but Nora and Terrence struggle because of the constant movement of the cell. They end up losing the fight with Kingston, who soon finds out that the remaining code is with their children. He takes away Nora's tracker locket and uses it to track them down. At the safe house, the kids are busy experimenting with the new gadgets in the safe house. They generate spy suits for themselves and begin receiving spy training. They also find a robot crab whom they name Bronson. In search of more interesting gadgets, they find a book that contains the principles of the Spy Kids, one of which reads that a good spy never tells the truth. When Patty reads it, she does not like it and says that she does not want to be a spy. All of a sudden, a group of spies arrive at the safe house, and ask the kids to open the door, introducing themselves as their parents' co-workers. When the kids refuse to open the door, the spies break into the safe house. The kids barely manage to get into their spy mode and escape along with Bronson. However, they are caught outside by Devlin, the senior agent of OSS and their parents' boss. They learn that the spies are telling them the truth about being their parents' co-workers. After this, the two kids are taken to the organization's base by the agents, while the game's villains follow them secretly. Inside the organization, they are shown a special gadget, an OSS Super Ducky, which is a plane but also serves as a boat. Devlin tells them that it is the only gadget that has not been hacked yet. He then asks the kids to play the high-score game for them, so that they can gain access to their system, which is locked by Kingston. Now, the kids start playing the high-score game and win it, helping the spies regain access to their systems. This is when Patty recalls that her mother had told her that there was something very important in the safe house. Shortly after, Bronson crawls out of her pocket, and takes out a secret chip from itself. It attaches the chip to the computer and the other half of the Armageddon code appears on it. Seeing this, Devlin appreciates their parents' effort to split the code into two parts. The kids tell him about Kingston, who is behind all the chaos going on in the world right now. Just when Devlin tracks Kingston's location using Patty's tracker locket, the high-score villains attack the place and start wreaking havoc. The kids try their best to protect the Armageddon code, but Devlin takes it from them to protect it better. However, at the last moment, Hack Knight arrives at the base and steals the code from Devlin. Tony and Patty soon realize that the agents are not going to do anything to save their parents. They take it upon themselves to save their parents, and quickly get inside the Super Ducky. Bronson drives it for them, and they begin following the high-score villains. They first sail through the water, and then fly in the air on it, following the villains. At last, they arrive near Kingston's palace, which they notice is surrounded by a wall. However, soon they discover that it is a 3D wall. They enter the palace, crossing through the wall and land inside. Meanwhile, inside the palace, Nora tries to break out of the jail but fails. She tells Terrence to keep trying, because if he can make the code, he can unmake it too, before it falls into the wrong hands. Terrence then reveals that he had tried to complete the Armageddon code several times, but had failed. However, when their son begins sneaking into their room, he somehow manages to complete it. Which is why he refuses to destroy the code forever. Suddenly, Nora transforms into Kingston, and it is revealed that he had tricked Terrence, so that he would finally reveal where the code was, and how he had created it. At the same time, Hack Knight brings the real Nora into the cell to join Terrence. Kingston informs them that he has retrieved the other half of the Armageddon code from their kids, and only needs Tony to finish it. Outside, Tony and Patty go further into the palace, and gain access to a map of the palace. Seeing the high-score villains walking around, they hide behind a pillar. However, when the villains hear their voices, they destroy the pillar and attack the kids. They narrowly escape using the gadgets they were given at the safe house, and finally reach their parents. Patty breaks the jail and helps her parents. Suddenly, they hear an announcement stating that the Armageddon code is now combined, and will launch in 6 minutes. The four of them realize that they have to stop Kingston, to prevent the Armageddon code from hacking all the gadgets around the world. Nora and Terrence decide that they need to work together, like they did during Mission Fireball, to defeat Kingston. When Patty asks them what was so special about that mission, Nora and Terrence tell them of the time when they stopped an evil man, Vargos, from destroying the world just like Kingston. They had infiltrated his base, and destroyed everything he had worked hard to build with a big fireball. Soon after, the four of them decide to work on one last mission together to take Kingston down. Nora and Terrence team up while Tony and Patty form another team. Both kids sneak into the place, where the main server system is kept. Tony realizes that the system shows the same puzzle that he had solved somewhere else. He begins to recall solving a strange-looking puzzle on his dad's computer, that led to the formation of Armageddon's code. He decides to decode it, so that he can put an end to Kingston's plan to conquer the world. Despite Patty telling him not to, Tony solves the puzzle thinking that he is decoding the Armageddon code, but the code gets combined. Right after, Kingston enters the room and tells them that he planned a fake countdown, so that Tony would combine the code for him. Here, Kingston reveals that Vargos from Operation Fireball was his father, and he wanted to bring change to the world. His father planned to fix the technology and to improve people's lives, but he was never able to complete his mission because of OS organization. Instead of giving his father a chance, they killed him and destroyed everything he had spent his life working on. Kingston wants to complete his mission by controlling everything with the Armageddon code. Anybody who wants to log into their system will have to play the high-score game first. According to him, this is the only way to fix the world. After this, Kingston targets the whole world with the Armageddon code, gets into his plane, and flies away. Just when Nora, Terrence, and Tony are about to leave disappointed, Patty tells them to stop, as they still have a chance to stop Kingston. She tells them that Kingston might have left the palace, but he is still present in the game, and if they defeat him in the game, he will not be able to do anything in the real world. Tony immediately joins her, and the two of them convince their parents to go along with the plan. The four of them then enter the game and take the form of the game's characters. The level they enter is the finale of the game, and is the hardest one. They have a timer on while they fight several villains to move forward. Throughout this challenging level, their entire family fights together and helps each other. The kids teach their parents how to defeat the villains and finally, they win over all of them. As they start to move ahead in the level, Tony tells them that only one of them will go ahead to fight Kingston, while the other three will have to fight his champion, Heck Knight. Tony goes ahead to fight Kingston, while the rest of them head towards Heck Knight. Kingston ridicules Tony because of his game character, but Tony tells him that he is fighting him as himself and attacks Kingston. On the other hand, Nora, Terrence, and Patty fight off all the villains that come their way, leaving Patty with Heck Knight. While fighting him, Patty slips and hangs from the edge of a cliff. Just as Heck Knight walks closer to her, she tells him to stay back, or he will fall over since the cliff is unstable. At first, he does not trust her, but sure enough, the cliff gives way under him. Before he can fall to his death, Nora and Terrence manage to save him at the last moment. This causes Heck Knight to respect them, and he bows down to Patty. Meanwhile, the time of the level is running out, and Tony is unable to defeat Kingston. Seeing Tony struggling to fight Kingston, Terrence tries to help him. However, Tony forbids him from coming closer and breaking the rules. However, he is too late, and Terrence throws a hammer at Kingston. Tony blocks it from hitting Kingston and takes the hit, causing him to fall over. Just when Kingston starts celebrating his victory, Tony receives a one hit, which is a reward for honesty. Patty tells everyone that Tony went to fight, with Kingston saying he would play with honesty without cheating and tricking. The main principle of the game is honesty, and because of his honest play, Tony gets a new chance and a power boost that he uses to defeat Kingston. Tony tells Kingston that Patty inspired him to play the game honestly, and that inspiration can change the world. Soon after, Kingston realizes that he has made a big mistake, and the world cannot be changed with force. He accepts his defeat and stops the Armageddon code from spreading throughout the world. As soon as Kingston does that, all of them are able to exit the game. Kingston appreciates Nora and Terrence for raising such wise kids. Moments later, a team of OS agents arrives there, and tries to arrest Kingston. Patty stops the agents from doing so, and tells them that putting him in prison is not a good solution. She reminds them that according to the OS rulebook, the spy who catches the enemy will decide its fate. So, if they are the ones who caught Kingston, they get to decide his punishment. She suggests they should leave him inside his game until he completes it, because High Score has all the guidance Kingston needs. Shortly after, Kingston is sent back into his game. Back at the OS base, Devlin tells Tony and Patty that they are now part of the OS team, and the Spy Kids start working along with their parents. After a while, they receive a video call from Devlin, who informs them that Kingston has completed High Score, and has started helping people with technology. Now, he calls himself Court Jester, a person whose job is to do silly things in order to make people laugh, and is a good guy inspiring the world. This is my explanation for the movie, Spy Kids, Armageddon. So what do you guys think about the movie? Write in the comment. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.